Yeah. Okay, guys. Good evening, and thank you for your patience. I want to apologize because we were facing some technical problems. But we'll shall start. Okay. Thank you for your patience once again. So, good evening to all. I'm going to put in the link for you to sign in and sign out for your attendance. Okay, that's very important. And a couple of rules here that you need to follow. Okay, the ground rules. Okay, so please activate your cameras. We want to see your beautiful and handsome faces. I know it's a long day, but it's always right to show your faces. Okay. If you have any questions that you may have later, please put it in the chat box. Okay, I'll keep note of it, and then I will ask the questions to the speaker. And of course, if you have any questions, you can use the raise the hand function, and then you can ask the speaker too. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pass this back to my colleague Ian, and then Ian will introduce the speaker. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. First and foremost, for those who are celebrating Chinese New Year, I'd like to wish you all a happy and prosperous Year of the Ox. Now back to our alumni speaker. Currently based here in Singapore, our ESSEC alumnus Brice is a serial entrepreneur and sustainability writer. He created his own company, BitZoo, to focus his energy on helping business grow while taking care of the environment. Now, without further ado, I shall now pass the mic over to Brice for his presentation.
Thank you very much, Ian. Hi, everyone. Very happy to be here. You cannot see me. I got a little issue with my camera, but at least you will see the presentation, and that's the most important part. It's actually much better like this. And so for today, I would like to keep it quite alive. So please do not hesitate to raise your hands. Raise your hands digitally. I would like to ask you some questions. I would like to make it more interactive for everyone. And if you have any questions, clearly, exactly as it was mentioned earlier, do not hesitate. So the goal of today is to talk a little bit about my background, is to mention a little why I started my business, what is the goal of my business, what is the industry about, and in the end, I will share some pieces of advice, what helped me to, until now, and what I would say what helped me a little every day. So I'm French. You might have recognized the accent, even though I try to hide it a little. Is there many non-French, actually non-native French speaker in the audience? Is there many this year? Raise your hands if you do. Davide, maybe. Others? No, I don't see much hands raised. Okay, so Alberto as well. Okay, very good. So basically, I come from north of France. Come from a pretty poor family, I would say. This might help you a little to understand why I did what I did. This is where I'm from. I wanted to show you a picture of where I'm from. I found it pretty nice. This is the best that I found. It's from Wikipedia. So basically, I come from the countryside. There were a lot of trees and fields around me. That's maybe why I work in sustainability now. And when I was when I was a student, when I started to study, I moved to Lille to pursue my studies. I will show you as well along this presentation some pictures about where I moved. Then, since you cannot travel, then at least you will be able to to travel a little during that hour. So then moved to Lille to continue my studies, and then I moved to Paris to have to do my master's degree. So I studied finance, and So I was math and finance basically. I could have worked in a bank, and for me it was slightly different. I really loved what I studied, really enjoyed it, and but for me it was everything about sports, and so basically everything I did was linked to this. I was writing thesis about this. I was volunteering. I was making some studies for big companies, and I wanted to work in sports industry. So I was participating to many conferences. I all the internship that I did was linked to it. And when I finished my master's degree, I I moved to I applied to ESSEC. Fortunately, I got accepted to ESSEC, and I moved to Singapore. So is any one of you recognize this this building? Is there any hand raised? Yeah, John, you can. Very good. So this is the National Library, and that was the former ESSEC campus in Singapore. So this is in near Bugis MRT. And so when I moved to Singapore, still worked in sports. We had a big project with UEFA. So UEFA is the European Association of Football. So it was very interesting to me, and pursuing my desire to work in sports industry. I got closer from different people working in sports here, linked to this study, and afterward I met who became afterwards my partner. And so we got in touch, and I had the opportunity to move to Bangkok after Singapore. So after spending 1 year in Singapore, I had the feeling, maybe you have this same feeling, is that Singapore, it's very different from France, and at the same time it's not so different. And I wanted to discover more Asia basically. And so in this with this in mind, I had the opportunity to move to Bangkok, and without really thinking much, I moved to Bangkok. Any one of you went to Bangkok earlier? Raise your hand if you did. Raise your hand digitally. No, I don't see any. Lorenzo? Okay, not much. Well, basically, if you didn't, I really recommend it. What I like with this picture is that you see basically buildings, and also so very new buildings, and also very traditional temples. And basically in this city, it's everything around us, in the sense that it's a very good mix of different things, different buildings, so different architecture, but also a lot of mix, different cultures, a lot of different people, and living there, it's very interesting. One thing I could tell from this experience is, so here I want to give you a little keys to if you want to move in another countries later. Well, if you are in Singapore, you're already in a different country, but again, in a country with much different culture. So by moving there, everybody speaks Thai. And so one thing is that you need to speak the language, and it's complicated. Not many when I arrived there, I realized that not many French people were speaking the language, but this is actually crucial. When you arrive in Singapore, it's crucial to speak English. It might be good to speak Mandarin when you arrive in Thailand. It's crucial to speak Thai, and so basically it's a lot of effort. It took me 2 hours per day for a year, but you absolutely need to do this if you really want to spend some time there. And if you work there, a lot of people do not speak the language, but it's not the best. Also, one thing is that as soon as I was able to speak Thai, and as soon as and coming from ISEC, which is over there, um, seen as a very, of course, a very good diploma, you are able to find amazing job with very good salary. I'm not talking just about the salary, it's just that the opportunities you have are also amazing just by the fact that you can speak the language. Another key aspect to move in a country which is very, very different from your own culture is to listen to people and just learn from them. And it might sound easy. It may be something you have learned as well at school. I remember actually learning this, but still it was something very crucial that really make all the sense once I arrived there. So you just learn from people around you, and you just try to understand who they really are, and how they live on a daily basis, and basically how you can get I would say how you can really be yourself there, I would say. And another key, mostly in Thailand, which is a Buddhist country, and people are very calm. Is to stay humble. A lot of people, they arrive there and they feel, yeah, I know what I'm doing, I know who I am, and they just basically apply their own rules in this country, and this couldn't work. So listen from them and stay humble on who you are. It's a key to adapt to this country. So little sidewalk, I would say, from my background. I think it's crucial for you to very important for you to learn these type of things if you plan to move in another country later on, and even more with a culture which is very different from your own. Then, so moving to Bangkok, and still willing to work in sports industry, and mostly in football. I got a chance um, to basically set up a company in Bangkok. So my partner was, as I was mentioning before, was in Singapore. He had a football agency, and the goal was to mix football clubs, European football clubs, with brands in Asia. And so I was in charge of the Thai market. And I would say, lucky enough, after a few weeks, it started to resonate to people, and I started to get in touch with some big clubs. And so soon enough, I was becoming the main agent for Paris Saint-Germain, so the main club in France, I would say. And I don't know if everybody agrees on this. Always some debates about it, but at least for the previous years, and at least on this year specifically, it was the case, and it's still the case. And so I was 25, and being in charge of finding sponsorship for a club. So for such a big club. So for me, it was clearly a relief. I was an entrepreneur. I was doing what I always loved, and it was working pretty well. Then the so this was in 2015. In 2016, the king in Thailand died, and we lost our clients and our partners. So all the football clubs didn't want to come to Thailand anymore, and all the companies we were working with didn't have enough money to spend. For the simple reason is that basically when the king died, so it was considered as a semi god, half god, and so basically no companies could spend money in advertising. No money could be spent on for yourself. It should be spent for the kingdom, for the kingdom family. And so clearly there was no investment possible, and so for us it was a failure because we had to stop the company. At the same time, I this was when I realized that with the little with all the money that we were talking about, so we were talking basically about millions, millions of euros or USD, whatever. Um, you just realize once you are in such a poor country like Thailand that just a little portion of what you have or what you could have could make a lot for these people. Just a little portion of what you talk about just would make a big difference for them. And I started to realize as well how bad we were treating the planet, in the sense that I always consider that waste management was always well done. In France and in Singapore, it's pretty well done. You don't see much. I couldn't believe though that a lot of products were not recycled for them. For example, I I couldn't believe that a lot of waste was finishing in the ocean. And so I started to make some research about it. And I think I spent like a month doing this every single day, just watching conferences, checking online how it works, what happened with the plastic that we use. So in Thailand at the time, basically, if you want to eat something, you go in the street, you buy some food that will be packed in a plastic box. Then it will be smoothly put in a plastic bag, and then you will get a drink again in a plastic container. That's you might I mean, for sure you have seen it here, but over there I would say it's even more present. And so basically I was researching what's going on with all this waste, and clearly it wasn't the best the best that I have seen. So it was a time for me when I decided that the next company I would have would be in sustainability, and then like working in sports was great. It was great for myself, but it wasn't really helping the community. And so at that time it was for me a breakthrough, and I completely changed my mindset. So then what do you do basically? It's like I was thinking, okay, I want to work in sustainability. I want to have my next business that will be helping the environment. But how could I do that? I have no experience. I studied finance, so I have no degree, how could I do this? And so this is basically when I started to, I decided to work for companies where I could lead some projects in sustainability. So the first company I worked for was Decathlon. So the French the French sports store. So I was still linked to sports. So I was it was quite a good mix on my side, and trying to push for sustainability project. And so if I have one I would say one advice is one piece of advice. It's to do similar things. If you want to set up your own company, do not start right away. Do not quit everything, but start little project. Start small projects on the side. Start if you can to work with your to develop your project through your company, because sometimes it is possible, and this is what happened to me, and it was I think the best thing. So developing sustainability project with Decathlon. So we were stopping plastic bags, for example, and trying to reduce the plastics overall in the stores and in the supply chain, because there is literally everywhere. And then I wanted to move to a bigger bigger project, and I joined a company called Central Group. So Central Group is similar to the Mullier family in France. It's huge, literally. They have malls, they have buildings, they have supermarkets everywhere in Thailand. And so basically my goal was to was to develop some sustainability project for the company. And of course, when you are there, you want to develop some project, and the answer that I was getting at the beginning was, okay, how do we make money? I mean, the question that I had is, how do we make money? Because sustainability was nice, but we had to make money. So basically, you need to learn to make money and being sustainable at the same time. And at that time, clearly you think like, but this is not possible. And you quickly realize that it is possible. And so this helped me a lot on this. It's to realize that companies, they always need to make money, whatever they want to be more sustainable or not. It needs to be financially viable, and basically having both financial and environmental project at the same time are possible. And so basically, amongst all these projects, one of them was to again to stop plastic bags in the whole company. So we did a small project with 500 stores. So 500 is it's a lot, but for them it wasn't that much, because again they are very big. And so in this small project, we mentioned everywhere that that we were stopping plastic bags on the 5th of June. This was in 2019. And what happened afterwards was amazing, is that on Monday, the main competitor followed the same train. They announced everywhere that they were stopping plastic bags as well. On Tuesday, another one. On Wednesday, another one. On Thursday, another one. And in just a matter of a week, the whole retail industry changed in the whole country. So what does it mean? It means that companies look at each other closely, and they could move on sustainability very fast, but they also it's somehow there is in our case people were quite scared of being the first. the first one to move. And once we say, okay, which we got to go anyway, then all the others followed. And that's this is very interesting, um, because I'm sure it could happen exactly the same thing in Singapore, but not only, in the sense that once a company in your industry start moving, the others are somehow obliged to move as well. Otherwise, you might just be left behind. And so after walking there and learning a lot from um, I'm checking if I have questions. No, still no questions in the chat. So do not hesitate again if you have questions. And so learning a lot from there, how to make sustainability and financially viable projects. I decided then that it was the right time for me to set up my company. So moved back to Singapore, and I thought it was a good place to start a business, and I thought I could bring a value in the market, in the sense that it was still still not there, I would say, in terms of sustainability. So I moved and started my business there. When and one thing that I have heard when I started my business, so that was the second company, is do not expect anything within 2 years. Valuable things take time. And when you are employee and you are making decent salary, and I mean life clearly was pretty good when I was in Bangkok, and at the same time just it was very hard to start a business, but there was a need, I would say. And so this sentence is coming from one of my mentor that I had at that time, and one of the person who really pushed me to start my own business. And he told me this, and so basically he helped me a lot, in the sense that if you want to create something, you will see a lot of people, they will have crazy results very fast. You will see a lot of companies raising funds within less than a year, but you shouldn't you shouldn't focus too much on this. You shouldn't focus too much on the others, because the company that I wanted to have was meaningful, and as valuable things take time, then it might take much more time for me to have a business that really works. And so 2 years was actually a good a good time, I would say, good time frame to not to give up, I would say, because it can be very, very easy to give up when you are alone at the beginning. And so basically we started, I started the company called Bisu in 2019, August 2019. And so basically we make sustainability easy for big companies, and the way we do it is by sourcing sustainable, innovative, and cost-effective brands in the region. And so we distribute high potential products in Singapore. We focus on Singapore for now due to the circumstances, and of course the goal is to expand later on. Here I use the why, how, what. from Simon Sinek. Are you all familiar with this, with the why? Who is not? Who is not familiar with it? Anybody? Raise your hand if you are familiar with it. No, not much. Well, if you do not, I would say it's not your fault. I think it's something we should learn actually at school. When I teach and I lecture, I always talk about the why from Simon Sinek. It's very crucial. If you can, after, I mean, it's not if you can, after this presentation, I highly recommend you, if you haven't seen it, to go watch the Why TED Talk from Simon Sinek. And so basically, to come back to what we do, we focus on plastic alternatives, building efficiency, and what we call future of food. So basically, we collect brands from several companies, we distribute them, and after a bit more than a year, we were able to work with Shangri-La, FairPrice, Keper, Green Collective, La Petite École, and SMU. So it's actually very interesting to see that these companies, with the same approach, the same approach that you can be more sustainable and make money at the same time, or you can make money while still being sustainable, while being more sustainable. This approach, big companies really understand it well. And one cannot be dissociated from the other. And as soon as you start talking about money, so you arrive first with the sustainability label, I would say, but as soon as you start talking about money, companies listen to you. And when you realize this is amazing. And this is a team. So after a bit more than a year again, like we were able to so I found a co-founder to help me out on a daily basis, I would say. Very useful if you set up a business alone, is to have someone around you to support you in the strategic decisions. And then it's all about the team. It's all about the people surrounding you. It's not a matter of really which decision you will take. It's just who surround yourself, and you need to surround yourself with people who can combine your own skills. So if you are bad at something, find someone who is good where you are bad, basically. And this way you will have a team of only strength and zero weaknesses. Another thing here that's that you might have realized is that it's pretty diverse team. So here we have people from India, from Vietnam, from Israel, from France, of course, from Singapore, and from Indonesia. And you realize as well that such a mix of people, being with people so different, it's always a good strength as well for the team, because people will always bring something on the table. And so strongly recommend as well to I would say to be surrounded from diverse type of people. Then talking about the industry, it's you maybe have realized that maybe it's too short for you. I'm not too sure, but it's very changing, and mostly I would say mostly now, in the sense that few years back there was not much going on. Sustainability was only words. It was only things that we were mentioning, but not really something that we were acting on. And now it's changing on this. So as you might have seen, is fashion industry, for example, which is the second most polluting industry. They are changing a lot, and mostly fast fashion. They change a lot of their I would say of their strategy. And if you don't do it, you might have just be left behind. It's just that us customers, we want to have more sustainable brands. We want to consume better, and if companies do not do it, they might be left behind. And a lot of changes happened in some industries. And if you don't pick up the slack, you might just not exist. So if you are in the book industry, if you were not online very fast, well, just Amazon comes and boom, and you do not exist anymore. If you are in the photography industry and you are Kodak, if you don't take the digital move, well, you might not exist after a few years, or just a few months. If you are Blockbusters and you sell DVDs, but again, you don't do it online. Just a company like Netflix might come and just kill you. And so these companies start to understand that they need to move very fast, otherwise they might die. We can see it as well in the oil and gas industry, and this is very interesting in the sense that oil and gas industry, it's an industry that works with all the others industry. We all need oil at some point. You want to just to move the product that you eat, that you consume on a daily basis. We need oil and gas, basically. So this industry is crucial for all the others, and this is an industry that started to understand that we need to move relatively fast. So we can see Total, for example, they just announced last year that they will stop oil, and they will focus more on clean sources of energy. BP, the British company, they are not called British Petroleum anymore, but Beyond Petroleum, because they really want to move forward on this. Same for Shell, one of the most polluting company in the world. They are also changing their whole strategy for the next years. So this industry start to understand that we need to move. And for me, this is a good, I would say, a good indicator that all the other industries will move as well. So same for banks. We can see now in a lot of banks that do not want to invest in I would say bad sources of energy. And in terms of food, we can see now more and more changes in our habits. So now we see in Asia, for example, a lot of people eat vegan meat, for example, or vegan sources of proteins. So that's this is pretty new, and I would say new at a wide scale, and this will just being intensified. And government as well starting to move. So we usually say that government need to take a few years before they move, and if we see now the government's moving, it's a good indicator as well to say that really I would say it's moving forward. All the stakeholders are moving forwards. So companies, governments, and people. Then I will leave you with some pieces of advice, because this is I find it always nice when I watch conferences to have some advice. So make connection all the time. And giving a business card is not a connection. I have seen people going in networking event and just giving business cards, and they say, "Hi, this is my name. Here's my business card. Contact me later." This is not how it works. Get interested in the other person. Um, it's I would say I'm checking if I have. No, I received some message in the chat, but it's not a question yet. So get really interested humbly, I would say, in the other person, and this works all the time. You might think right now like, I don't have time for this, or what will it bring me? I have I have spoken with people who are multi-millionaire, and they always think that connections are crucial. Being an entrepreneur, I always think that connections are crucial. When you are an employee, connections are crucial as well. So this is to me one of the best advice that I can give for tonight. And this is something that you need to constantly work on. Keep learning as well, as I mean, a little every week, I would say, or ideally every day even. Books, TED Talks, podcasts, audiobooks. There are a lot of sources that you have around you uh, to 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 learn. Just be careful with Blinkist. So Blinkist is an app where you can see you can see highlights from books in just 5 minutes. Just be careful from this, because sometimes you have some books, you have one main ID and a lot of examples around this ID, and in this case where it's easy, it's easy to resume it. But if you there are a lot of books where it's not the case, and you will miss a lot if you only watch a video of 5 minutes. So just, 5 or 10 minutes. Just be careful with this. When I was graduating at ESSEC, one speaker came and he said to the audience, "When you leave ESSEC, you know nothing." And at that time, I already had my own business, and I was like, "Yeah, it's no, it doesn't know what it's talking about. I know a lot of things. I know what I'm doing." I realized after a few years that it was right. And you might think that you know a lot of things. Just be careful with this, because you will realize soon enough that actually there are a lot of things that you don't know. So keep. That's why this tip, it's very important to keep learning. And there is a principle as well that is used by many CEOs and famous entrepreneurs, which is the 5-hour rules. So I know that Steve Jobs, for example, it was using it. I know that Jeff Bezos uses it, Oprah Winfrey uses it. It's something that many use. It's basically saying you learn 1 hour every day on your weekdays. So 5 times 1, you have 5 hours per week. That's a 5 hour rule. I would say that this can be even too small actually, because if you use your weekend and stuff, you can quickly go over to 5 hours, and if you can do more, it's even better. But keep this on a weekly basis. Keep this target of 5 hours. And then the last pieces of advice that I have for you is to be proactive in everything you do. Whether you want to get a raise, find a job, start your own business, whatever it could be, just being proactive, it's one of the most important things. If you read the 7 habits of highly effective people, this is the number one, if I'm not wrong. um, this make me think about two people as well. One is Idriss Aberkan, a French thinker, who says if you let other people decide for you, this is not in your own interest. And and this is true again in many aspects, and in companies as well. And another one that I really like, which is slightly different from the first one, but still linked to being proactive, is don't wait, time will never be just right, from Napoleon Hill, in the sense that you always need to move forward. And this helped me a lot when I had my own business, in the sense that you can always find excuses not to do this, not to do that. And actually, there is never a perfect time to do something. So you just need to jump into it. And that was the last slide of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Brice. That was very
Welcome.
comprehensive about how your whole journey and your path towards entrepreneurship and the struggles and all. Thank you very much. And yeah, very good advice that you have there. Okay. So guys, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, or if you have, you can simply just unmute yourself and ask questions, because I have a couple here that were sent to me by email. I don't know why you guys sent it to me by email. But, yeah, shy people, I guess. Okay, I got one here by Cesar. Thank you, Cesar. It says, could you give us examples of how you have made sustainable actions financially viable in some of your projects?
Yes, sure. So that's a good question. So we could see here, and indeed my bad, I didn't focus on it too much. But for example, here with Keppel, what we do is that we supply a solution coming from Japan, which is a net that you plug in air conditioning units. And this product, it will allow you to decrease by 25% your aircon consumption. So it means that basically you start saving money, and at the same time you can also so you save the environment, right? Because you consume less, and so you can also claim that that you are doing good things for the environment. So companies really love this type of solution, and this is clearly something that we will have more and more. So you start reducing your consumption, you save money, everybody's happy. With Shangri-La, for example, what we do is that we supply some vegan dishes with high protein intake. So basically, Shangri-La, they want to have, this is coming from them, they want to change what they have in their menus, and they know that their consumers want to try new things. They want to change as well. They want to consume less meat, but they still want to have the benefit of the proteins. So we supply to them some spirulina products that they use in their own in their menus, and so yeah, they are pretty creative. So they create very beautiful beautiful dishes with this, and so it looks delicious, and at the same time it's much better for their consumers because they can eat vegan, still have a lot of proteins. So we can have up to 15% protein, for example. And the good aspect of spirulina is that it's a microalgae, and so not like meat. Basically, it uses a lot of CO2 and rejects a lot of oxygen in the atmosphere. So it's very sustainable source of food. And why does it make them money? Well, basically because they can answer the demand from their customers. So more customers come to their restaurants thanks to this. Then with Fair Price, they approached us as well because they wanted to have more sustainable products. So we supply different things, mostly coming from Thailand. So we supply the spirulina product as well. We supply, like for example, we have a bottle of water, and the bottle itself it's compostable. It's not made of plastic. It's made of a material called PLA, and so it's fully compostable. And the thing is, I mean, several advantages to this. One is that it comes from the region, so it doesn't come from France, for example, like Evian, right? So it doesn't come from quite far. It doesn't come from Fiji either. Like the brand Fiji comes actually from Fiji, and where half of the population over there do not have access to water, well, still they export a lot of water, and so basically wanted to have another source of bottled water, and this one is coming from Thailand. The bottle it's compostable, it's reusable as well, because since you don't have any plastic, you don't have microplastics, and we know that 1 liter of water can contain up to 10,000 pieces of microplastics. So clearly, if you drink water in bottles, you should consider this, and you don't have all the chemicals as well and endocrine disruptors linked to plastics. Because when your food touch plastics, you have endocrine disruptors in plastic, and so of course you get affected by this. Yeah, another one that we do with SMU, for example, and La Petite École is that we supply them some toothpaste. So then it's it might sound interesting. It's actually a toothpaste in tablet, and so basically the thing is toothpaste are the best product to clean your shoes. So what happens if you take shoe polish, you put it on your toothbrush and you brush your teeth with it? It will be very agreeable. Well, basically what we do every day, because toothpaste is actually so corrosive that with all the chemicals that you have in it, that it's very good to clean a lot of things. And I'm not talking only about shoes, I'm talking about many different things. Like the sink, for example, it's used toothpaste is very good as well. So basically now I buy toothpaste, but only for I mean for this, and not to clean my teeth anymore. And so what we wanted to have is get removed of all these chemicals. We wanted to remove the plastic as well, because the tube in the toothpaste is of course made of plastic that is not recyclable. And we wanted to remove the water as well from the toothpaste, because 70% of it is water. So there is, I mean, it's not an active ingredient, right? We don't really need it. We have our own saliva, so we don't need it. So we removed all of this, and we have now these tablets, which are fully safe, which are very good as well. And so we supply them to FairPrice, and we supply them to other companies like SMU. So then we can have this daily product for the students, and we can make them more aware of what the sustainable items that we can use on a daily basis.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for answering, Breeze. Thank you. That was a very conclusive one. Hey, Breeze, I'm sorry, but I think the students are going to jump into another class. Can we do this? Can I email you the questions that the students gave me, and then you can then try and answer, then I can send it to the students, okay?
Sure. So I'm sorry for not answering all of them right away. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have other questions, or even if you don't have any questions. I will be happy to be in touch with you, and if I can help on anything, do not hesitate. But I'm happy as well to answer the question later on by email. Thank you very much for.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Breeze.
Thank you. Can we all just wave at Breeze? I know you can't see, but just wave and show appreciation. And yeah, do remember to sign out. Breeze, once again, merci beaucoup. And the rest of you, have a good evening, and we'll take care. Okay, we'll catch up soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.